In St. Teresa's girls' boarding school, the nights were always quiet, broken only by the hum of insects and the faraway hoot of an owl. But everyone feared one sound above all others, the sharp clicking of high heels, koi, koi, koi. Madame Grace was once the most elegant teacher in the school. She was tall and slim, with smooth dark skin that glowed under the sun. Her hair was always styled neatly, and her long red gown swept the floor as she walked. But the one thing no one ever forgot was a pair of bright red shoes. They were glossy, sharp at the tip, and every step she took announced itself loudly, koi, koi, koi. Her students admired her beauty but feared her temper. Among them was Ada, a 14-year-old girl with big curious eyes and two neat braids that touched her shoulders. Ada was gentle and often took the punishment of others because she hated to see her friends cry. Beside her was Busy, bold and outspoken, with round cheeks, dark curly hair, and a laugh that echoed across the dormitory. Busy never believed in ghost stories, and she made sure everyone knew it. One evening, as the girls prepared for bed, Ada whispered, "Busy, do you think Madame Koi Koi is real?" Her voice shook as she folded her thin blanket. Busy rolled her eyes. "Stories to scare little children," she said, slipping her small brown feet into worn-out sandals. "No ghost wears high heels." Yet, in the corner of the dormitory, quiet Ngozi sat hugging her knees. She was the smallest in the class, only 12, with a soft round face and eyes that seemed too large for her small frame. She whispered, "My cousin heard the sound in her own school." She said Madame Koi Koi stood by her bed and smiled. The girls shivered, except Busy, who laughed and blew out the candle. But that night, long after the dormitory had fallen silent, Ada's eyes flew open. She had heard it, a faint clicking in the corridor. Koi, koi, koi. Her heart pounded. She turned to wake Busy, but Busy was already sitting up, her round eyes wide with fear. "Did you hear it?" Ada whispered. The sound grew louder. Koi, koi, koi. Each step was slow, deliberate, as if someone wanted to be heard. The dormitory door creaked, and in the doorway stood a tall figure. The moonlight from the window revealed her, Madame Grace. Her long red gown shimmered faintly, her glossy skin looked pale, and her red shoes gleamed as they struck the floor. Koi, koi, koi. Ada gasped and pulled the blanket over her head. Ngozi let out a small whimper, clutching her pillow tightly. But Busy stared, her lips trembling for the first time. Madame Grace's eyes were sharp, and though her face carried a faint smile, it was a smile that chilled the blood. She walked slowly between the beds, her heels clicking against the cement. Koi, koi, koi. Her gaze swept across the room, pausing on each girl as if measuring their fear. She stopped by Ngozi's bed. The small girl squeezed her eyes shut, her tiny frame shaking. Madame Grace bent slightly, her long fingers brushing the edge of the blanket. Then she whispered, in a voice soft as silk, "Respect your teachers, and no harm will come to you." She straightened and turned, her red shoes striking harder now. Koi, koi, koi. At the doorway, she stopped, and with one last cold smile, she vanished into the shadows. For a long moment, silence filled the dormitory. Then Ada began to cry softly into her pillow. Busy, the bold one, sat frozen, her body stiff and her lips pale. And little Ngozi whispered through her tears, "I told you she was real." From that night on, none of the girls doubted the legend. And though they grew into women, mothers, and even grandmothers, they never forgot the sound that haunted their childhood, koi, koi, koi.